Are we
Okay.
live?
Yes, we're live.
Okay,
Okay,
we are
恭喜
live.
发
Hey
财.
guys! Hello! Hello, hello, hello. We are live. After how long, Sean? After how long?
So long until that my hair turned white already.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. What happened to your hair?
midlife
Chinese
crisis
New
lah,
Year.
midlife crisis.
哦，
No, just kidding. Okay,
黄金满地.
黄金
Guys, Sean is like
黄金
黄金满地 on his hair.
great. So, does everyone else know where you are? Okay, or is this still a secret? Okay, anyway, very exciting. Today we're going to talk about quite a number of things. Number one, market updates. Where is the market going? What are our thoughts? And then there will be the second part of the session, right? We are going to talk about stocks related to CNY. By the way,
Yeah,
CNY is not Chinese yuan, it's a Chinese New Year. So if you guys got any like thoughts on that, please feel free to share as well. So what's up, Felicia? What do
yeah.
you think about the market right now?
What's up, Sean? Hey guys, hello. Yes, cool. Hey Sean, we're
Invest in
waiting
gold.
for your
Huh? What's that?
Sean investing in gold. Yeah, exactly. No, Sean is hedging with his gold. Hey, Sean, we're waiting for your sound effects also. But anyway, okay, guys.
Or my sound effect will be
Look at
manual lah.
this,
So I
right?
will make all the sound effect using my voice my diaphragm. Okay.
Oh,
This one, investing in wheat.
what?
Okay,
I
thanks.
know
I
it's
remember you,
digital,
Erin.
digital world.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, well, Sean investing in wheat. Hello, guys. Okay, before we go, before we start, can I help to like and share this video? Help to like and share so that more people can join us. Because what is happening in the market, guys? What is happening in the market? Um,
Mm.
okay, so before we start, help us to like and share so more people can join this Saturday night fever party, right? So much is happening. I know that many people are so frantic now. Yes, okay, so once you have liked and shared, put as usual LNS in the chat and then we will go. All right, right, you can put LNS, like and share, and then we can go. um Sean, I don't know about you, right,
Yep.
but for me, honestly,
Uh-huh.
and I think behind the scenes also, right, I'm just like very transparent with you. I'm like, Sean, what do
Yeah.
you think is happening in the market? Because yeah, right. Xiangka is saying 9% pain, right? The S&P 500 has fallen 9% from all-time highs. It's in the past, ever since the COVID crash, this is the sharpest pullback ever, right? And then
Yep.
what else is happening, guys? The QQQ representing the tech sector fallen 13% from all-time highs, and once again we haven't seen such a sharp pullback ever since what? Uh ever since COVID, right,
March
guys?
2020, correct? That's like
Yes, ever since March
one and a
2020.
half
Hey,
years.
hello,
Yeah.
Jennifer. Yeah, so let me just do a poll, okay, guys? Let me just do a poll. Type in, how do you feel? And all these emoticons, right? Do you feel A? Do you feel B? Do you feel C? Or do you feel D? And you can be super honest, okay? No shame in feeling whatever way. Just be super honest. Uh, yeah, and John is saying this is only 9%, and he's crying already, right? I know.
Oh, a lot of A's, a lot of A's. I'm so happy. Okay, B is crying. But the crying is like the emoticon sounds like tears, looks like tears of happiness, eh?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
B,
Hey,
some
by the way, I
C.
also want to say, yeah, I saw the response. Like, portfolio 30% paid. Now, again, okay, maybe we can go a bit more in depth. But when you talk about
Mm,
30% pain, are you talking about 30% from the highest point, or is it thirty
mm,
percent of your invested amount? So you all got to have some expectation management, right? If let's say you invested, example, 100K, it went up to let's say 1 million, just for example, and now it drops to
mm.
$700,000. So you feel like, oh, it's a pain. I lost 30%. It's not really that bad, you see. So be very aware your invested amount or based on 1 year ago when you have started until now, what is the result? If you look at like day to day, right? Every day you feel a bit of pain, It's like that, how must take a lot of painkillers, or which is maybe a good stock as well, GSK.
But Sean, okay, so question
Yeah.
is, okay, so good. Okay, I see many of you typing all sorts of A, B, C, D, everything also have, right? Edwin, what? Edwin
CA,
sleeping. Edwin, you
the
sleeping
simple
through
one.
the year and all these years, or you sleeping now? Yeah, and I know Sean is like time for sleeping also. This is like Sean's sleeping time. So Sean, we are super,
No worries,
just
no worries.
very happy that you can join us.
I'm learning to change my routine to become more flexible and adaptable based on needs as well. So I'm slightly exploring more things in terms of like sleeping routine and other other things like yep.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Hmm.
So let's just do this discussion, right? I mean,
Right.
just share our thoughts. Sean, obviously you are super chill. You have been in the market for I don't know, like 100 years, right? You've seen the market crash a
Yeah, that's
few
right.
times.
Yep.
And of course, guys, we know that Sean is like yeah, Sean is our guru of investing.
Okay,
Even I myself.
let's assume I'm good. Let's assume I'm good. So so
Okay, so
what do you have
so,
in mind?
so
Yeah.
Sean,
Yeah.
tell us your, or maybe just share with us what your perspective is, right? And of course, I can give a brief overview on what's happening in the market, and then Sean, you can share with us what your thoughts are as well.
Okay,
So we
sure.
know just generally, right? When the tide is out, all boats, regardless of how solid your boat is, it comes down, right? And when the tide is in, right, all boats float. So let me just give you some what's this in your hand, but anyway,
Oh
let
no.
me give you
Training my
some
fingers.
perspective. What's this?
Train my fingers because as investors, right, sometimes when the stock market looks very scary, your fingers go like paralyzed. You can't click the correct button at the right time. So it's very important now, guys. As investors, must train your fingers. Oh, actually, I'm doing
Yeah,
this for the
okay.
handstand thing, yeah. Sorry, you're saying?
Okay, so just giving a brief overview of how the tide is looking,
Yeah.
and if you guys watched my market update last month, right? I did give. I mean, this is just a summary, but I did give you at that time more in-depth overview on what's happening in the market and where my thoughts on the market are, and actually we are really heading in that direction. So just to cover some key points, right? In terms of the overall market, Sean, the job growth was less than half of what was expected,
Right.
right? And then PMI tells us just how it's one of the key indicators of how well the market is doing, and the PMI has fallen, right? It's taken a plummet after a whole years of growth. And I did talk about my thoughts on where the headwinds, I mean, whether there are further headwinds. And if you guys watched in December, actually, I did say that there will be further headwinds. Why? Because the Fed is basically cutting its monetary easing, right? It's
Right.
pushing. I mean, it's no longer depressing the interest rates. It's
Right.
pushing up interest rates. And what does that mean, right? What does that
Yeah.
mean? That means the cost of borrowing increases, and especially in tech companies or in companies that require more debt in order to fund their innovations, in order to fund their growth. Now, this cost of borrowing increases. And very, very interestingly, typically, and Sean, I think you are more experienced in what happens, in various factors that's happening in the market. But typically, when the stock market pulls back, the bond market, let's say there's this seesaw effect, right?
It's
In
not
the
always
stock
the
market.
case. It's not always the case. Okay, so this is based on theory. But you must understand that
Yeah.
when the link between the stock market and the bond market, right, is alternatives. Meaning to say people will decide
Yeah,
whether they put their money in stocks or bonds, you see. And
exactly.
the interesting thing is this, when you talk about interest rate, let me share my perspective in terms of that. I think that interest rate is a very critical portion right now. And
Yes.
unfortunately, we do know that, in fact, Fed has already announced that they will be increasing interest rate to curb
Yeah.
inflation. Okay, so the whole entire economic engine, now I realize what I learned in university is actually quite useful because I learned about economics,
Okay.
but we also do know that every single policy that they create, right, is in hope that there will be certain reaction. And that reaction
Oh.
is not immediate. However, there's certain expectation when they say, okay, we are going to increase interest rate. So in all aspects, right, if you think about it, when they say they're going to increase interest rate and it's not immediate, they are saying that it will be like over 3 times in 2022. So by right, it should be upon a time when they increase, the effect will take place. However, when they announce it will increase, people will already expect interest rate to increase. And what does this mean? Let me explain to you guys. In a very layman's term, in the investment sector alone, investors want to place their money in a place where they can make more money, correct? So let
Yeah.
me ask you guys a very simple question. If let's say now the bond or the bank's interest rate, let's say you can put your money in the bank and you can get 20% investment returns, or you can get 20% interest every year. How many of you will put more money in the bank? If you, or in fact, how will you shift your portfolio right now? How many percent will put inside the bank? Or bank equals to bonds equals to interest rate, okay? And how many percent will still be in stocks? If let's say they guarantee you 20% every single year, Felicia, what will you do? If let's say Singapore Bank, DBS or OCBC say, oh, now you put in the bank, you get 20% every year. How much money will you put in?
No, exactly. I will definitely allocate some more, right,
Some more. How many percent?
into the bank. How
Twenty
many
percent.
percent?
How many? How much percent? How many will you put in?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll put in like 20% or yeah, maybe a fifth or like one third of my assets.
Wow, amazing. So it goes to show, right? Okay, Felicia is putting only 20 to 30% of her portfolio, right? It's because she has a lot more confidence that she can make more than 20% herself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you know
correct.
that is correct? If you know that
Yeah,
in stock market you're not so sure, correct? If you're not sure whether you can make 20%, you might as well throw everything in the bank. That's why, okay,
right.
that's why some people will put 100%. Capri will say 100%. Derek's 100%. Most of the normal people will put 100%, because where else can you get 20%? Unless you're a very
Correct.
scared investor. Now, you must understand, in the whole entire investment world, right? Not many people are confident getting 20% on their own. True? Not
Mm,
many people are even confident getting 5% on their own. You'll be surprised.
mm.
Okay, I think Felicia have seen like 50%, 100%. So it's like, people cannot get 5%. She'll feel very shocked, okay?
At
But it's
times,
true.
at times.
Mhm. At
Mm,
times, okay. But I'm talking about like the in the normal investment world. You know what I'm saying? To be able
yeah,
to guarantee them 5% or things like that, or even 3%, right? People are very happy, you know. So right now, the Fed is pushing towards their 2% mark. Now, just by having that announcement and things like that, right? People's perception of stocks change. Okay, you know why? Because the higher the interest rate goes,
yeah,
the stocks, right, is begin to is okay. The valuation of the stocks, right, is now becomes higher. Now stocks are more expensive. Why is it more expensive?
yeah.
Because I'm still taking that risk. Why should I pay so much for stocks?
Mm,
I might as well put inside the bank. So Warren Buffett said this before. Interest rate, right? The amount of interest rate is like the gravity to the stock valuation. So when
whoa.
interest rate
Yeah.
is higher, okay, it is making stocks more expensive. The gravity is stronger on stocks, meaning you say stocks
Mm,
are no longer as worth it. So I mean, although the interest rate is not going to 10%, by the way, last time in Singapore the interest rate can go up to 8 to 10%. By the time the police really
wow.
wear shorts, then they wear long pants, then they wear shorts again. But back then
When you
back
were
then
still
there was
18
this.
years old.
No lah. I mean, it's very long ago. Okay, interest rate, right? Actually, it won't go down. It can only go up. Okay, right now. So it is detrimental to stocks because there will be people shifting money out of stocks.
Yeah,
Fed also mentioned we won't be printing money anymore. Oh,
yeah,
okay, not printing money now. Quantitative is easing, meaning you say we
yeah.
won't be pumping more money. Last time when they pump more money, what happened? They actually distribute it to the people, and a lot of the money flowed into the stock market. People say, well, this
Yeah,
money now, COVID, I also cannot spend. I cannot go to overseas. Myself, I invest and make more money, right? So a lot of the QE money, quite a portion of them went into the stock market. But now that money supply has stopped. So if
mm,
people have no more money to invest and the stock has gone
mm,
high and interest rate is going to go up, think about it. What would be the psychology of most of the? Okay, by the way, this is just my own deduction. It's never 100% correct. So I would say that there is a lot of headwinds. I mean, based on your term, right? There's a lot of
yeah,
reason why the stock market should go down.
yeah,
Plus bad economic news, plus no more money to pump more money in, and all the everybody is getting scared. So the enthusiasm, the optimism is like almost gone already. So people are
yeah,
more cautious now. Right now, I don't think a lot of people will be dumping a lot of money in, because even now, even though it has gone by 9% down, right? You look at the
yeah,
valuation of a lot of stocks, it is still pretty high. And suddenly people
yeah,
realize, hey, yeah, does it still make sense to just keep pumping money in and keep chasing, hoping that certain stocks go up another 100%? So
yeah.
in my opinion, I mean, by the way, later I'll mention one more thing. However, we assess the stock market, it is our own, I would say, our own implication of what we think the information will give. But how we
Mm,
implement our stock portfolio, right? Later we talk about what CNY stocks to buy lah. Okay, so don't be so worried.
Yeah.
Don't be so worried. Yeah, later I will calm everyone down by repeating things that Warren Buffett say for millions of years. If I invest for 100 years, Warren Buffett millions of years already. So he always mentioned, who cares about the stock market? Most importantly is, are you buying a company that is still making you money? If you are very
Right.
assured of that, right? Later we can talk about some. When I look at some stocks, wow, my saliva also drip until all over the floor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So Sean, I think whatever you said makes sense, right? I mean,
Yeah.
basically people just want to put their money into something where they feel safe. And let's say you have 100%, right? It
Mm,
flows either to the stocks or into bonds or now even into crypto, right? Whatever,
mm,
whatever, whatever people feel safer. And that is the general psychology behind the flow of money in the
correct.
market.
Correct.
Just to share, right? Just to share, the last time, can you recall the last time that the Fed actually tapered all these asset purchases and all this transition into a higher interest rates? Do you remember when's the last time?
Well, actually, very long ago, because what happens in 2007, 2008, right? It was a terrible crisis. Okay, because there's this particular gentleman who is becoming a bit more famous recently. His name is called Jeremy Grantham, is it? Okay, there's this guy
Mm-hmm.
who predicted the crash correctly for all the big crashes. He even
Mm,
correctly predicted the turnaround. Okay, I mean the bottom and then bounce out. Okay, but when you say he predicted correctly, right? He predict for a span of 6 months to 1 year lah. He said the crash is coming.
yeah,
He talk about 1 year then pump come lah. So sometimes he
yeah,
also say when people say that I'm correct, right? I mean I was delayed by 1 year. So I mean crash is going to come anyway. Now he mentioned that 2007, 2008, right, was a terrible financial crash, but it
mm,
behaved very well. The reason is this: why is it terrible? Is because typically the money flows somewhere. You see, so
yeah,
okay. So last time is the four key assets: stock market, bond
mm,
market, property
mm,
market, and commodities. Last time,
yeah,
so
yeah,
typically there's a rotation. If the money goes into
yes,
stock, the bonds is actually cheaper. Meaning to say the interest rate is higher. I mean lower and things like that. And if let's say it flows into property and so on, because there's limited money, correct? Whereas in 2007, 2008, right, the stock market and the property market and the bond market are all extremely high. Meaning
yeah,
to say everything is expensive. So when it crashed, everything crashed together. When people need to actually
mm,
sell off things and then to take them out. Now he's saying that right now, right, the similar situation is happening. Okay, right now you think about it, everything is expensive. Where is the cheap place to invest? Where's the undervalued area? He said that there isn't any, and according to him, it is going to be a super bubble. He called this a super bubble where there's nothing that's cheap. Right? It's like even you talk about Bitcoins also not cheap, right? Okay, I don't really follow Bitcoins. Is it cheap? So
Actually, now, so
uh,
so that's interesting, right? Because I just had a conversation with one of my friends who is a pro in crypto, and I was just sharing
uh
with him. I said, hey, something that I noticed previously was that in the let's say the past 1.5 years, ever since the COVID crash, typically if there is a
huh,
pullback in the stock
yeah,
market, the crypto market rises. Like there is this seesaw. But
yeah, correct,
now this time, in the past
yeah,
1 to 2 quarters, crypto it has been in tandem with how the stock market reacts.
yeah,
So even the past few days, crypto has been down as well and back to the 35K mark. And I did want to talk about maybe Sean, you can share with us this, and I did want to talk about um,
mm,
how the overall valuation of the market was affected by 2015, 2016, when the Fed tapered their purchases and
yeah.
transited into a higher interest rate. Yeah, but go ahead first. Yeah,
Oh no. So anyway, when you talk about the last time the Fed did that, I don't have a off my mind. I can't really remember. But every time they do something, correct, it is all
yeah,
about how confident people are with what they say. You must understand it. So the actual implication of like raise interest rate, the cost of borrowing is becomes higher. I mean all this actually takes place a little while later. You see, because even let's say you
yes,
raise interest rate right now, whatever that okay, whatever existing loan doesn't get affected, correct? It's actually new borrowings, right? But however,
mm,
right, people's expectation is like, oh dear, the stock market is going to be affected. That's why the stock market get affected. It is very self
mm,
fulfilling and very, I would say, how do I call it? It's very reactionary, lah. Meaning to say people react and then things happen. So
yes,
this is there's a lot of okay, so if the stock market really do crash, I mean, it is already sort of like a pulling back, right? Somehow this time round, I think in most people's mind, they also realize that there's nothing much the Fed can do about it. So last time
Yes.
COVID, right? You say, well, government is doing a lot of things. The Fed will save the day, and people have the confidence because Fed really did a lot of action. But right now, their hands are tied. So right now, I think a lot of people in their heart they are saying, okay, let's get ready for the fall. Let's buy the parachute and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
when that happens, the whole psychology of market change and the market cycle comes up. Nothing wrong, nothing
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Guys, actually, you can hear Sean's inclination already. Sean, by hearing you,
No,
I think
yeah,
so.
you're saying, you're
I
saying.
mean, no, but it completely makes sense, right? I mean, it's not to instill any fear or not to instill anything, but whatever I mean, whatever you just heard, guys, it really just makes sense. And just bringing it back, Sean, if you don't mind, just let me share. Yeah, yeah. How's your
Oh
one
yeah, yeah, go
punch
ahead, go ahead, go
man?
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you just let me share my screen, right?
Please
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
you can see this green line, right? This green line. Can you and so this green line tells us the point. Let me just explain. This vertical axis, right? This y-axis tells us
Yeah.
the PE. Okay, the PE, the valuation of the overall market, the S&P 500. And the
Uh-huh.
last time, okay, where it pulled back to this 17 or 15 PE range was when the Fed actually tapered their asset buying and they raised interest rates. That was in 2015 and 2016. Okay,
Mm,
2015,
mm, mm.
2016. And very interestingly, if we just bring back like the magnitude of the pullback, okay,
Right.
in terms of the valuation of the market to what it is today, because there are some similarities, right? Do you
Mm.
know that actually there could be even a potential of up to a 25% drop in the PE ratio that we're seeing today, which
Ah,
means that today the SPY is about 4,300, the
right.
S&P 500 is about 4,300. If we just map this, the magnitude of the pullback, the
Understand.
SPA, the S&P 500 could pull back to 3,500, three thousand
Yeah.
five hundred, which means that there is really still a runway to go, right?
A
And if
runway to
we
go
were
down, is
to,
it?
yeah, a runway to go down, a runway to
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah,
down.
correct, correct. According
Yeah, there is really
to
still,
yeah, according to like what I mentioned just now, the person who actually predicted the super bubble, right? When he says super bubble, he's expecting it to go down minimally 50%, according to him.
oh my
And, and
gosh.
and so far he has been correct for the past few times. Maybe this time he's wrong. I don't know because I mean the dynamics have changed now. The stock market, there are different things that are happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and let me show you guys, okay? I mean, just for those of you guys who know how to read charts and are interested in charts,
Mm,
um, it's not just, I mean, PE wise, the market is still like what Sean says. I mean, it's still kind of overheated. I mean, for lack of a better word, right? It's still high. But if you guys can see, right, if you all know how to read MACD and the stochastics, it is still not at a super oversold levels, meaning the sellers, right? The sellers are still coming in. The sellers are still coming in. On top of that, let me just, oh, where's my, aha. Okay, on top of that, if you guys know how to read your EMAs, right? The basic EMAs, you can
mm.
see that, okay, let me just close this.
It's going to break 200, right?
Yes, it has broken the 200. It has
Uh-huh.
broken the floor of the floor, okay, guys? It has broken the floor of the floor. And the no, the EMA, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
okay,
So this
so
time supposed to have sound effect, right? Dun, dun,
yeah, dun, dun,
dun. Okay. Okay,
dun.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so and you can see that there is this quote the what do we call it now? The death cross, is it? Or the golden cross, okay? Depending if it's good, it's
No
golden
idea.
cross. If it's
Yeah.
if it's not a good cross, it's yeah,
Left cross, okay.
So we can see, right, that there is really still quite a big runway for a decline.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and the signs are pretty telltale. And what do you have to say to that, Sean?
Actually, I mean, like, if I were to say something, I remember a quote that I did mention to a number of our mentees before, right? When
Mm,
when when there is like economic dark clouds. Okay, this is by Warren Buffett. When there's economic dark clouds, right, and when things are going to go into storm. Lao Sai Cross. What was that, man? Okay. So okay, Warren Buffett said this. When things are going to become very nasty, right, you must get ready your bathtub. Okay, when he say bathtub, what it means, right? Because it's gonna rain go. Okay, rain go. And you don't want to go in with teaspoon, you go in with bathtubs. So I think well, if you are a real investor, you're someone who wants to collect solid stocks and solid positions in your portfolio, actually the stock market goes down is more beneficial to us. But by the way, I also want to mention that seriously, I know that a lot of people may be panicking right now, but you should pull your portfolio to 1 year. If you look at a 1 day chart, 2 months chart, 6 months charts, it look very scary. But if you look at 1 year, most of the stocks are still up, right? Like I'm not too sure what stocks you're invest in, but I look at my all looks quite healthy so far. So maybe I share with you. Okay,
Yeah.
got one big one is maybe a lot of people talk about Tesla. So I just show Tesla. Okay, you all can see, right? If you look at 1 year, right, it's still off 11%. Right? It's not that bad, right? I know it's very
Yeah.
disappointing for Tesla. Like, wow, how can Tesla, this kind of stock, be 11%? I mean, I don't know because a lot of people telling me, I don't know what price you bought. If you bought at 1,000 and drop a bit right? But I mean, if again really go and pull into a 1 year time frame, and things are not that bad yet, okay, it may go down even further. You put it 1 month, then
Yeah.
went down like less than 1% only. Right? But interestingly, again, go to later we talk about stocks that we can understand. But the funny thing is this. Okay, I give some spoiler lah. One of the stock that I'll be talking about, right? Are you all still seeing my Tesla? Okay. One of
Yes,
the
we are
stocks that I will
seeing your
be, where's my Tesla? Oh, that I'll be talking about, right, is Chinese New Year. Okay, I just quickly spoiler lah. I think a lot of people, there's
Dong
this
dong dong
particular
jang. Dong
there's this
dong dong
particular
jang.
company, right? Their logo is red color, and people always buy this thing on. So their whole packaging is red color one. And is I mean, we shouldn't just buy stocks based on Chinese New Year alone, correct? Because Chinese New Year only once a year. But I can tell
Yeah.
you that this particular Chinese, think about what people are doing and get some inspiration. So you look at Coca-Cola, okay, KO.
Oh my goodness, you got it right. Chi Hong got it right. You're gonna
You
talk
talk about
about
Coca-Cola, is
Coke.
it? Yeah, Coca-Cola went up
Oh,
24%. Actually, double of Tesla. So funny, right? So sometimes, I just want to say, right, a lot of people want to go for very sophisticated, exciting stocks, but the boring one, I guess you're. That's why I didn't want to do a lot of Facebook Live already, because my stocks all very boring. Like people, these stocks
oh.
again, can tell us something exciting or not. So sometimes really the boring stocks does work better. Coca-Cola is up, double of Tesla if you look at 1 year time frame. And my favorite, of
Mm,
course, is Berkshire Hathaway. Right, Berkshire
mm.
Hathaway, you take a look, the 1 year, right, they went up 31%. Then you do strategy X, is like definitely 120, 150% already, right? So sometimes keep things simple. And can you still invest in all these stocks right now? All these stocks, I can tell you, later we look at some valuation. Because
It's too high.
interestingly, the boring stocks, the valuation is still okay. The exciting stocks, their valuation go up a lot and still come down a lot, but it's still on the high side. I mean, in my opinion, but no problem. I
Mm.
guess we are here to speak freely, and if you all don't like, then you all smash the don't like button. It's okay on. Yep.
They like, now they listen to you.
But in
Eh,
certain in uncertain times, boring stocks are the best. In fact, boring stocks are the best in all times. Because all times are uncertain, correct? So it is you can sleep at night. I mean, the only thing that you sleep is a little bit of anger because people will be laughing at you. You're so boring. Never try all this stock. But it's okay lah. Just let it be lah. You know that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not making 100% every month, but I know my stocks are going steadily. It should give you a lot of comfort.
very
You see,
nice.
so no need to compete with people. Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, Sean.
Mm.
Guys, and that's a brief overview of our thoughts of the market. And Sean, do you have any, let's say, final things to say to calm people down before we go into our stock pitch, right? And
Okay,
then,
can.
guys, later you're gonna determine the winner for stock
Okay,
pitch.
no
Yeah,
winner lah. We are just talking about
yeah,
stock ideas,
exactly,
correct? Now, I just want to share with you,
exactly.
right? Frankly speaking, right, I don't really look at the stock market that much. I
Yeah,
mean, I for the Facebook Live, whenever let's say, I'm going to like talk together with Felicia on a Facebook Live, I will go and do my research on stock market. But hardly do I need to do
mm,
research on stocks because I spend a lot of time looking at individual stocks, whether it's the valuation okay, whether I mean there are some stocks interest rate go up go down. whatever happens, it doesn't affect them that much, you see. So for me, I know that stocks at the back of my hand, but for stock market, I mean, in terms of the overall general direction and all that, I will have to read up. I have to go and check out what's the latest news in preparing for Facebook Live to appear a bit more intelligent. But frankly, I don't really know a lot. And the reason why I say that is, right, I hardly know anyone who really know a lot, who know a lot in terms of knowing what to do with the information. There are a lot of very interesting information. Wow, stock market go up, stock go down. But frankly, I can tell you, if you actually focus on individual stocks, you don't really need to worry about the general stock market that much, because general is general lah. Okay, so take it in the sense like, example, you are a school principal. Then you have to worry about the whole entire school's performance. The average of the whole school, is it up or down? But for me, I pick the best student. So I don't know whether this is the correct example. But I pick the best student and say, oh, okay, you give me all the best student, put in the best class. You know, no matter what, the best class will do well or not, correct? Maybe the whole school will go up or down because of certain things. But if you have a class of the elites, right, steady already, don't need to worry about the whole school performance. It's a very irresponsible thing to say if you're a real teacher. But I'm just using this as an example, assuming that everybody goes to school. Does it even make sense, what I'm saying?
Very interesting analogy. Okay, very interesting analogy.
Yeah. So what about you? You got anything to say before we move on to our CNY stocks?
I think it's a very good checkpoint. It's a very good checkpoint. Yeah. You're Spider-Man, you're here to save the day, Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Getting ready for CNY, right? Because Spider-Man is red. But anyway, just to what I was saying, right, guys, I think this is actually a very good checkpoint for us to reflect on how, we've been investing. Because I think in the past 1.5 years, I can say that because of the whole optimism and printing money and there is that sense of that we are not investing in a real environment, and therefore, because of the optimism, right, I can say that I have also seen people, and I myself have done trades, right, or let's say positions where I know the valuation is higher than it is, right, but you still enter because there is that optimism, and then you factor the optimism in your own valuation. But as I was telling my Telegram community, my Facebook community, that guys, let's take this point and let's take this pullback as a checkpoint to how we have been investing, because at the end of the day, valuation works, your fundamental analysis works, and Benjamin Graham, right? Benjamin Graham says, right, that the stock market in the short run is a voting machine. In out, in out, in out. All these short trades are pushing up the market. But in the long run, it is a weighing machine. Meaning in the long run, right, it comes back down to the fundamentals, how the economy is doing, how the company is doing in terms of its valuation, and sometimes people might think that, oh, this is just like passe investing, but no, if you are in the stocks and options world, right? If you're in the stocks and options world, then follow the rules of the stocks and options world, right? If you're in the crypto NFT world, then of course that is another world. But I must say that the mindset, right? The mindset of how things have worked for stocks and options still holds true. So use this time to really, I think, also reflect, right? Reflect on your style of investing, on your portfolio, and and then sleep peacefully like Sean. Okay, so good. Shall we, guys? You can type in any remarks, any questions, okay, that you want to put in the chat, and then we will go to our CNY stock page, our Chinese New Year. Tong 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 chang. Yes. Okay.
Okay, good. It's also, by the way, it's not really a competition per se, but let's I think it's very exciting because, okay, I mean, Felicia and I, we were talking about, wow, the stock market is so red, so it's like getting ready for Chinese New Year. Ang Pao, correct?
The stock market is as red as Ang Pao, yeah.
As red as Ang Pao. So we say, hey, why don't we explore certain ideas we can get with the theme of CNY, Chinese New Year? Now, I think it's a very good practice for investors, especially this will train you to look for opportunities that you truly can understand. Okay, so sometimes when you just read a report like an analyst or maybe some stock research report, right, they can run until very good, you see, because they understand and you get influenced by the person's perspective. But when you start to think from ground zero, meaning to say, last time in Benjamin Graham's day, I know we always talk about them, correct? But they bring us back to the fundamentals of real investing. They think about this thing called like scatterbutting. Like, hey, what companies do I really like to own? Okay, by the way, so before we go to the Chinese New Year stock, right? I want to ask you a question that one of my fellow investor asked me. It was like almost 5 years ago or pre-COVID. It was a very good question, you know. That when he asked me, I said, "Wow, this is such a wonderful question." He asked me, right, if the stock market goes down 50% right now, right? Okay, goes down 50% tomorrow. What are the one or two stocks where you're going there and then snap out because it's a huge discount? Can you all please help me type it down now right now? And then it makes me think, you know. So I remember back then we mentioned two stocks. One is Disney, one is Visa. Actually, got a lot more, but these are two stocks that we talk about. And true enough, when COVID happened, these are the two stocks we went in heavy. And I mean, of course, you can have better stocks like
What are these two
PayPal.
stocks again, guys? Type it in the chat. What are these two stocks again, Sean?
Yeah, so it's
Just now
Disney
you
and
mentioned what?
Visa, Disney and Visa. But of course, there are stocks that did a lot better than them, correct? Like PayPal and things like that. So I also mentioned, I also want Microsoft, I want Google. So you start to actually, wow, if the big discount come, what do you want to actually buy? You see. Now, I can tell you guys, there's a high chance a big discount is coming. So myself get the list ready and then get excited that there may be a discount rather than what will happen to my current portfolio? Definitely, you need to start to actually get cash ready lah. Or Amazon, yeah. Wow, that one also. Wow, the saliva drop. Okay, Disney, PayPal, or Disney and Visa. Okay, so you all must think of your own. Don't just repeat mine. Okay, GME. Okay, interesting.
GameStop.
Netflix. Okay, good. That's a good idea. All right, let's talk about some CNY stock ideas, stock picks. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some stocks that we were forced into the theme of Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so who's gonna start?
Actually, I got a few ideas lah. So I can start first. I got a few ideas that I thought of. So one thing that I did was, right, I was thinking about CNY, Chinese New Year, right? What is the spending behavior? Like, what do people actually spend a lot more on? What do you think? Okay. Because of hot pot, is it? Yeah. I also got to think about, actually, I went through this. I'm thinking like, people buy Chinese New Year goodies, correct? Like all the bakery, all the bakwa, all the like pineapple tarts. Then I was looking at all those bakery shop and things like that. But there isn't one that is really very amazingly outstanding. I'm going to share one particular stock direction or idea. I have not invested in these stocks before. I don't have a very huge circle of competence in there, but I'm beginning to understand more and more. Okay, so I'm not sure whether you all know. Okay, Chinese New Year, the biggest or the place that celebrates the most is actually China. It's not Singapore. So whatever Singapore behavior that you see may not be the best reflection of it. But okay, my ancestors come from China. So I'm a Chinese. Are you Chinese, Felicia? Or Zimbabwe? Chinese, right?
Still the days of Zimbabwe. Yeah, it's from Zimbabwe, guys.
So my first stock idea is actually on this thing called Baijiu. I don't know whether you heard before or not. So let me just show you guys. Oops, hang on. Okay, so there's this particular series of Baijiu lah, but the biggest one is this. How do you pronounce this, man? I don't know. Hui Chao Mao Tai I know lah, but this what, how do you pronounce this?
Yeah. Guizhou
Mao Tai is it?
Guizhou.
Yeah, so they are the biggest, and I mean the valuation is not cheap lah. In fact, they are like the fastest growing stock. There's almost in line with their tech stocks in China. The issue is this. The issue that I want to mention is because I'm going to talk about some China stocks. I realize China stocks, one of the key issue is always government regulation. So the government like to control a lot of things, okay? So I think there will be some regulations over drinking. However, that being said, right, when you look at their finances, I can tell you, I don't think people are drinking any lesser lah. Okay, so wait, let me just go through the key ratios. So this one particular stock, I'm not sure. Have you heard of this before, Felicia?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you did a study on this, is it? Did you?
No, I mean, we didn't do a public study on this. I've done a study on this before. I'm like, wow, this China company. But then again, okay, you can share first. And then I will ask you some questions about China. I know the audience is also very curious about China.
Yeah, I got not much circle of competence about China. I have to tell you upfront first. But this particular stock, in terms of the stock price, in terms of you look at the revenue, it has grown by nearly 10 times. Okay, not really 10
Yeah,
times, maybe
my
five
gosh.
times.
In
Okay.
COVID, people really need a lot of liquor during COVID.
Oh, is it? I
Drink
didn't know
their
that.
sorrows
Okay,
away.
really. So this is one very strong company, I would say, and I think along with it, there's also their competitors. But this is my first idea because I realized Chinese New Year, this is one of the big consumption. They drink liquor. Okay, so this is my first top idea. Yeah, you got any questions?
No, I think the thing about this Guizhou Maotai is that they have a long list of waiting line. They have a long waiting line for their liquor and they have like exclusive distribution if I'm not wrong and you know but you know VVIP, yeah, exactly. It's like this kind of like you know all the rich and famous. This is the go-to brand for them, right? So, but
Mm,
the thing about China, and I think we can also see it
yeah.
in you know the recent times is that because China. Oh, I don't know whether
Yeah.
I can say this or not, but
It's okay
the
lah. This won't be
government
broadcast to China lah. It's all blocked lah, right?
the government is I mean the government is different, right? You must know
Yeah.
that I mean we know that it is not a democratic society.
Mm. Based
Things
on justice and
and
equality.
the power the if any one company holds too much power,
Yep.
which in the case we saw, right, Baba, we saw, you know, JD Tencent, all these like
Yeah.
large companies holding so much more power and therefore the government steps in to try to break this, right?
Yeah.
And they have very strict regulations. I actually went through quite many of them, and it can you know it can be summarized into 5 different pillars. But basically, there is really no way that any company can grow to such a large size.
Mm.
And the China government is very different. Um, I mean, China regulations is very different from the US, right? You know, US have been talking about all this antitrust tech regulations for the longest time, but nothing has happened so far, right? So far.
Ah.
But in China it's different. In China it's different. So, but anyway, Guizhou Malta is in the FMCG industry, you know, FMCG industry other than them and I mean it's a more fragmented market as compared to tech. So maybe they are at less risk. But I think maybe you guys, if you have any questions, you can also type there. Wow, Guizhou Malta must buy 1,000 shares.
If
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay,
wrong, I
so
think
what's
so.
the
Yeah.
next idea, Sean?
Oh, I shoot all the ideas. Is it?
Oh,
Actually,
okay, okay. So
huh?
now my turn. Is it now my okay? I
Your
can
turn
go.
your
I
turn
can go.
So now
Okay.
okay
So
lah, not a competition So the reason why I say that because I want to give Felicia face lah, because I know she always lose, then she feel very sad, then cannot sleep. I'm just kidding.
oh my goodness.
Oh,
Thank you
Yamsi,
for
that's a
being
good
very
idea, man. Hey,
kind.
Kenny. Yeah. I didn't think about that lah.
Okay.
Okay. Ah.
So guys, just to see whether you all have been paying attention just now, what was one of the two stocks that Sean mentioned that he will invest?
Huh?
You know,
Wow.
if the stock market goes 50% down, what was it? What was it? What were the two stocks? Okay, and we didn't actually speak about this, you know, what I'm gonna pick and what he's gonna pick. Okay, but let me ask you, during Chinese New Year, do people spend more or spend less? Do they spend more? Do you spend more during Chinese New Year, Sean?
Wow, spend a lot, man. No one say already.
Yeah, I know. Ka-ching, ka-ching, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You guys got it right. Okay, you guys got it right. And this is, oops, sorry. Uh, 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 uh. Let me share my screen. I am going to pick. Ta-da-da! My stock pick is actually Visa. Okay. And of course it's a Chinese New Year stock. Why? Because during Chinese New Year people spend more, right? And there is. How many of you have a Visa card? Have a card with a Visa there? Can you all put V? Right? How many of you have V? Like Visa?
And you
Whether
say
you
like that,
spend it on
Visa
Amazon.
is a Chinese New Year stock, a Christmas stock, a Valentine's Day stock. Everything also can. Never mind, never mind.
Exactly. This is called being creative, right? Being
Yeah.
creative. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so anyway, I mean, you guys know about Visa. They are the market leaders, okay, more than 50% share. And something that's very interesting. Now, just very quickly, overall consumer spending has stagnated. Can you see around like 1%, right? Consumer spending. But what happened in the full year of 2021 for Visa? The payment volumes have gone up by 18%. So versus the market, it's doing super well, right? It's doing very well. And you guys, and just to cover very quickly, because we are all familiar with Visa, Visa has different revenue drivers, right? Like cross-border transaction, you know, they have like payments clearing and settlements and things like that. But some of the interesting growth drivers, firstly, okay, there is still 37 trillion forecasted 37 trillion USD of consumer spending and B2B spending that is still done on cash and check, and Visa is trying to target this, bring them online. Okay, and this and how do they do that, right? Oh, actually, let me see. Okay. So ignore the crypto part first. Okay. So how do they do that? It's through a couple of things, right? Like for example, they have new acceptance categories, right? You can now use your Visa on vending machines, on parking, on different places, and they have added 2 million more new accepted locations just in the US itself, right? To capture some of this spending that is still done offline, right? They have this tap to phone payment solution, meaning that if you have any kind of device, right, that can be connected to the cloud, you can transform that device into a payments recipient, into a payments receipt or a payments machine, you know, which makes it super easy for people. And other than that, guys, what else? Crypto is really coming up, right? Crypto now it's a 3 trillion, but I mean after the past like 1 week it has gone down. But in total, right, crypto is now a 3 trillion market. But if we draw parallels to the stock market in 1980 started as 3 trillion as well, but today it's worth 94 trillion. Okay, so there's a huge runway for crypto, and they're doing so many things. I'm not going to go into the details, right? But crypto in terms of they have crypto debit cards, you know, they have crypto rewards. They're the first payment to be using this USD coin that is pegged with the Ethereum and the US dollar. They have their own crypto advisory service, and the crypto space is going to get institutionalized, right? What else? They have market expansion, right? Branchless banking in India, social commerce, guys. They have this partnership with Facebook on WhatsApp payments, and WhatsApp itself, right? 2 billion users, which is how many percent of the world's population, guys? 2 billion users, huh? How many percent of the population is WhatsApp? I mean, does WhatsApp capture? It captures more than 1/4, you know, more than 1/4. It's about a third of the world's population. So there's tremendous room for growth for Visa, right? And just going into Morningstar, I mean, you guys know Morningstar, right? Let's go into its financials. Okay, just very quickly. And I'm going to show you guys very, very strong financials. Let me just expand it. Okay, you guys can see, right? In terms of, just go down to profitability. Can you see? 10 years, it has doubled its more than, yeah, ever since 09. Okay, but not even 09, right? Let's just talk about, I mean, not 09, 2012, but 2013 all the way to now. Its net profit margins have been growing. 50%, I can tell you, is super strong. If it's 20%, it's already strong, but 50% is extremely strong. Okay. In terms of its debt coverage, super high debt coverage, right? 32%. Don't need to worry about interest. Now interest rate rising, right? But don't have to worry. They have very high interest coverage.
In fact, they are the one benefiting if interest increases.
Yeah.
I mean, because if let's say customer forgot to pay, probably it's benchmarked to certain floating rate as well.
Yeah.
Very likely.
You can see cash is king, right? Free cash flow is like just growing. And in terms of their valuation, okay, I can tell you that for the past 1 year, because I've been eyeing Visa for like the longest time, and for the past 1 year, Visa was at crazy valuations. There were times where it was at 60 PE, 70 PE, 80 PE, even 90 PE. But now, it has gone back to so it has gone back to 38, right? 38. And if you just compare the past 5 years.
Actually, also not very high, not very low lah.
Yeah, it's not very low. It's not very low.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the past, it's fair value now. So if you can see, so it's past 5 years average. I mean, now it's 36 PE. Past 5 years average is 38. So it's kind of like at fair value now. And I must say that
if the stock market drop a bit, then I think will be
exactly.
okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So this is my CNY stock pick. It is a safe stock pick, but because of the current market conditions, I wasn't thinking of giving you guys some fanciful um,
Mm,
uh, uh, stock pick. Yes, tell
mm.
me, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? And by the way, help to share this video once again if you are learning a lot. Okay, type learned. If you are learning a lot, type learned, and you all can share this video. Sean, any thoughts?
Okay, so the question is this. Okay, because we're talking about Chinese New Year and Chinese New Year doesn't mean just China lah. Okay, so they are Chinese all over the world ma. People are getting irritated by Chinese, right? So luckily that's why I'm going to dye my hair. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm a Chinese. 我是华人. Okay,
要黄金人。
yeah. So the thing is this, because I think Chinese New Year, it's almost like a Christmas effect, but for Chinese people in the world, right? So therefore, spending increase, and therefore, I think Visa is a pretty no-brainer to me. I mean, whenever there's a good opportunity, I always love to like accumulate more of it. No-brainer. Okay. So, question they like to ask is like, do we invest in options or underlying stock? Now, you must understand. Okay, what's your opinion, Felicia? What will you do?
Yeah, so I mean, and in my past webinars on Facebook Live, I've mentioned this many, many, many times. What is the difference, right? Guys, can you type in the chat? What is one of the biggest difference between options and stocks? Can you type? What is the biggest difference? It is the what? It is the period of holding, right? Options, you don't actually really own the stocks, right? It is the tool on top of the stocks, but stocks, you have forever holding power. So in times of volatility like that, okay, in times of volatility like that, for me personally, I will allocate more to stocks because I mean, no one can guess the market, and you just want to have the longest holding power. Um, and at this point in time, I mean, I've also shared with you guys. So at this point in time, for those of you, you know, you're either our OMI graduates or you know options, right? During this point in time when the market is plummeting, what is very high? What has shot up? What has shot up, guys? IV,
Start with
right?
V. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the volatility has shot up. So when the volatility has shot up, what does it do to your premiums? Do you want to be the buyer or seller of options when IV percentile has gone up? Yeah, right? You want to be the seller because you're collecting money. So at this point in time, okay, if you want to do options, can. But there are certain strategies and options that you can do as compared to others. Okay? Yes, very good. Okay, very good. So you guys have learned well. All right. Good. Sean, yourself, why don't you share with us stocks versus options? What are your thoughts?
To me, I think if I were to put it this way, maybe if you buy stocks, right, it is more like taking MRT, more predictable. Where you buy options, will be taking a very fast speed motorbike lah. So I mean, it also depends on your skills level. Is there risk in the motorbike? Definitely when the traffic is more like chaotic, all that. Okay, I don't have a license for motorbike. I'm just guessing. So based on my own observation. But you
Yeah.
see, if let's say someone is very scared in it, very scared in the motorbike, actually regardless of condition and everything, they know how to navigate, and it will still be having a little bit more advantage as compared to taking a public transport. But at the same time, there will also be more risk if let's say that day you are not feeling well, you drink too much Mao Tai, then you crash out. Okay, so
Hey, this
uh
boy, this
personally,
boy, stocks equals wife and what? Options equals two.
I totally don't get that. I think for him, he do have wife, so he has no credibility to talk about all these kind of things. So this guy
What
is
you
not
boy? I'm free advertising for you.
not in its circle of competence. Yeah, Harley Davidson versus MRT. So for me, I really prefer options a lot more because in fact, right, when we if you do not use options, it's a lot riskier. But if you not use options, for the same amount of stocks you want to buy, you can actually use a lot lesser money on. Then if you use lesser capital, you're a lot safer. For those who are into options, you know what I'm talking about, right? So do for me, I will go into stocks if let's say that particular instrument doesn't have options, which leads me to my second stock idea. Okay, this stock
Oh,
idea.
wait, before that, since we are on this, right?
Yeah,
Sean, are you okay to share like what's the percentage of stocks versus options in your own portfolio?
a lot more options now. Like even
Really?
my Berkshire Hathaway, I hold a lot more long-term core than stocks, and I'm okay for it to fluctuate.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Okay.
again, I don't do it. Okay, so there's the thing about me. So for me, I don't do a lot of very disruptive high growth stocks. because disruptive high growth stock, they are a little bit more unpredictable, correct? And I find that there's a
Yes.
lot more monitoring I need to do. Then a lot more people like to bash them sometimes. Then their
Mm.
founder like to tweet things here and there. I don't mind them. I don't mind the entertainment, but as a shareholder, I don't like to go through all these things. And I feel that
Yeah.
sometimes I'm thinking like, hey, some of these people they are spending more time on PR than their own business. So I'd rather go for stable business, and then I use options to leverage a lot more. To me, I find it
Yeah.
a lot more easier for me. Again, no disrespect to people who have other ways of doing it. So again, it's up to you. Okay. So I think even just now talk about multi, right? There's a ETF that you can hold. They don't hold a lot of huge percentage of it, up to maybe 5 to 9% around there. So I hold a lot more options nowadays. Yep.
Mm.
My style is
Mm.
calm, stable, consistent. Yeah, for me. So nothing much to talk on Facebook Live. A bit boring after a while. So, okay. Anyway, my
Now
next thought.
people do, you know.
Yeah, my
Go
next thought I
ahead,
think
sorry.
is a no-brainer. It's a super, super, super no-brainer. Why I say it's a Chinese New Year stock, right? Is because I think Chinese New Year that okay, actually it's a all year round stock lah. But when it comes to Chinese New Year, right, one thing that people like to do is a hong pao, right? Give red packet. Okay, not they like to do. But one thing that people have to do is to give red packet. I don't like to give red packet. Don't come for me for it. Okay, I like to give up. So the thing is this
Waiting for mine.
come to my house and take. Okay, so one thing that you know in
Mm.
China they, from what I understand, okay, I'm not
Digital
from
ang pao.
China. They did digital ang pao. Do you know through what platform?
I was also thinking of that. We are thinking along the same lines.
Oh, you also know Okay lah. So 3, 2, 1, we
No,
say
I don't
together.
know. I don't know what platform. That came to my mind initially. I was like thinking, maybe Grab, and then I checked. I even went to check. Does PayPal have digital ang pao, like
WeChat.
digital?
Actually, the
Which is
most
J
popular is still WeChat.
Tencent.
Yes, correct. It's still WeChat.
Yeah.
It's the most okay according to what I read. I don't live there, so I don't claim to know. And actually, one more thing, right? Interestingly, the government is trying to reduce these companies' earnings. Okay, they are not trying to reduce the
Mm.
earnings, but they even regulated, right? During Chinese New Year, they stop. They actually have a very interesting regulation. Do you know what's that? The Chinese government. They have a regulation
Maximum
to
transactions.
no, not about transaction. This one is about a certain behavior during Chinese New Year. It is not very typical of Chinese New Year, but they are very concerned during this period. I don't know whether is it because no visiting or anything like that. They actually regulate the number of hours certain minors. Minors means probably below 16. They can play
Mm.
games. And the biggest again game provider in China come from the same company, which is the owner of WeChat. So ultimately, it's still this guy called Tencent. So Tencent, in my opinion, is a crazy no-brainer kind of a business. I know it has not been performing very well in terms of stock price, but to me, it's like I know the government likes to regulate it, but how much can they do to it, correct? So that's my opinion. So let me show you guys Tencent. I mean, probably you are quite familiar with it already, but let me just show off a bit. It's not my company. I don't know show off or what. Okay, so this is Tencent Holding.
The
Oh,
Tencent grow
where
to
is it?
10,000.
Yeah, it's amazing lah. So you can look at their revenue. It's not even 10 times 20 times, right? Yeah, 20 times. So their profit, their margin is a model answer for those value investing textbook or any investing textbook. It's super fast grow. It has super high net margin. It has a very high interest coverage. It is like it's really like a perfect company, in terms of finances. And this kind of perfect
Mm.
company, right? The very cool thing is this. So I'm actually grateful that the government is hand itchy trying to stop it because it's so big, right? Now, if
Mm.
don't have all those government regulation, right, very unlikely you will have this kind of valuation. So their valuation is, let me see. Okay, their valuation has been like that for a while already. So for the past, I think 1 year plus, almost 2 years, you can see that
Mm.
their average PE. Okay, for me, I think for those who, okay, I didn't post a lot on Facebook on investing recently, but for those who caught a glimpse of what I'm mentioning, right, one of my favorite valuation is really actually price to book, a comparison of price to book. And
Yeah.
why price to book and things like that. Okay, then you have to go and watch my previous workshops that I talk about it. Okay, so you can see the average is actually 9 point something, and the current is 4 point
Mm.
something. It's half the valuation of what the market would have paid for Tencent based on their book value per share. Okay, even if you talk about their
Mm.
earnings per share, it's also nearly half. Yeah, it's half actually. It's half of what people valuate based on the ability to earn. Correct, and their earnings have not dropped. their earnings have not dropped, their book value has not dropped. So the only thing that's dropping is people's interest in it because of government regulation. They feel a bit sick, like, oh yeah, if I own this company, I'm a shareholder, and I got this very my big brother keeps looking over my shoulder. But I think in some sense, there is a I mean, it's not so good for the free market, but I guess I will say this. I actually do appreciate the Chinese government doing certain things. I know it's not popular
Mhm.
thing to say, but I think because of the way they are pushing certain things, right, a lot of the companies there can grow more steadily. You see, so it's not like fluctuate
Mm,
a lot, then suddenly just wipe out. Okay, they hardly
mm.
wipe out any company now. They restrict, and people get scared, then the stock price drop. Okay, so it's the BRK of China. Yeah, it's everything of China, man. It's like the Google of China, the Facebook, the everything. So Tencent's like
Yeah.
the movies, music, everything, and the valuation is really like a nosebleed kind of valuation. So for me, this is my Chinese New Year stock. Okay.
Very nice. So, Sean, I think,
Mm,
this is the question, right? Because the
yep.
whole topic about China has been coming up again and again and again.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, China, we know that even the foreign direct investments, FDI has already taken over the US, and they do have very solid companies. But
Yeah.
at the same time, what is what are some of the telltale signs
Uh
to
huh.
show us that the valuation actually catches up? I mean, the environment or the valuation of the company is actually catching up with its true fundamentals, right? Because
Mm.
if the regulatory environment, you can have
Okay, I give
just
you a very
to give
quick I give a
another,
very quick answer. I give a very quick answer.
yeah,
So like you are talking about like some stocks may be undervalued forever, correct? For a very long time,
exactly,
and they will never catch up because
exactly,
of the sentiment of the market. Now, we will never know for sure. See, I mean, I can give you a very like politically correct answer and try to actually pinpoint, yeah, maybe based on 5 years later, based on whatever trend they have, or maybe based on the next election. But I can tell you, it is not like that. So even like very great investors like Peter Lynch or Buffett, I go back to them because they've been proven for years through different market conditions. For them, they purposely look for companies that is being neglected. So Peter Lynch, he
mm,
buy companies like, I mean, I think he mentioned two companies before. I cannot remember the name, but I remember the nature. He talked about one company that sells coffin. There's actually a listed company that does funeral services, coffin. And back then, right, when do companies' stock price goes up a lot, right? Is when they are inside the limelight of the news, ma. So like news analysts, they will go and talk about it, then it goes up. But which news analysts want to talk about funeral services? Because they will go there, talk to the owner, go and visit the place. It is more fanciful to go to like big manufacturing places, big industrial parks and stuff like that, correct? So
yeah,
some of these companies, right, they are undervalued for maybe 3, 4, 5 years, then they suddenly shoot up. Case in point, Singapore, there's this company called China Sunshine. I think we talk about it.
mm,
Way before
mm,
anyone talk about it, we talk about, wow, this company is amazing. And the person who introduced it to me is Glenn Ho. That time he found this company, P ratio 4. I remember P ratio 4, I say, this is crazy, P ratio 4. Let's go and check it out. We went to the office and talked to the investment relationship manager.
mm,
When we saw
mm.
the way she talked and how much passion she has in the company, and she really explained to us how they actually make the tires and things like that. Well, I got so touched. I'm saying like she was angry. She said, how come our P ratio only 4? She understand P ratio and stuff. It's like we put in so much hard work. How come nobody is like talking about us? So eventually I bought, and it went up like it went up 4, 5 times. Like my
Wow.
money times 4 times 5 within like 2, 3 years. Because I realized maybe SGX after a while they have nothing to write. They have to find something to write lah. Then this company very interesting. So when you talk about like even Vietnam companies, even many countries, seriously, in unlike US, a lot of the whole entire eyeball of the world is in US. So many of the stocks,
Mm,
they fluctuate a lot more. They move a lot faster. But whereas throughout the rest of the world, right, there are many hidden gems. And the hidden gems, the question is, when will they be like really like people recognize them, right? I got no idea. But the whole key thing is to recognize them and buy them before they get recognized. But exactly when will that happen? I don't have a specific answer to that. Yep.
mm. Very good, guys. What do y'all think? Any comments? Any comments? Yeah,
You got,
absolutely right. I
yeah.
think by the time
Hey,
people
you got
discover,
Tencent or not? But Tencent everybody
honestly,
knows lah. Huh? What, you don't have, is it?
I mean, not so. I used to hold Tencent in my portfolio, and I
Yeah.
think I was very open also in sharing my thoughts with the community. That while I believe that all these are solid companies. Because for me, I don't have enough knowledge to say
Understand?
when the government, I mean, once again, when all this regulatory impact will soften.
Yeah.
So for me, I liquidated my positions in Tencent. Okay, guys, and you guys
Excellent.
know this. I think my followers know this. It could be, I mean, it could take 1 year, it could take 2 years, it could take 3 years, it could be 5 years, so no one really knows. And my philosophy is this, right? My thinking is this, because we have limited capital. If I want to allocate my capital and put it to best use, I
Yeah.
want to put it to somewhere where, I think there is a higher chance
Yeah.
of gains, right? Because not like Sean who has like 100 million or 1 billion.
Yeah. Sure.
He
Yeah.
has
Don't know where to stand, man.
infinite bullets to shoot in
That's
the
not true,
stock
lah. That's not
market,
true, lah, guys. Okay. Yeah.
which actually more than 80% of the people do not have. So, if you have a limited pot of money, right, you have to think for yourself, like, where do you want to best allocate it to give you whatever objectives you're trying to hit within a certain period of time. So that's more of my thinking, okay, guys? So you must know, investing, there is no cookie cutter way, right? If you have a certain pot of money as compared to someone, I mean, if you have 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures or 9 figures, how you allocate your money and what sort of strategies you do is different. Okay. Wow. Kenny says that you can open a bank. Okay. Yeah. A bank with minus 10% interest rate. Okay. Minus 10% interest rate, right?
Oh, can. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
On
You're a very good
hindsight, everyone
businessman.
looks like a genius. Yeah. C1 is right. Right.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay, cool.
uh, just a quick
Yeah.
one, because they are asking about like I was talking about Tencent holdings. So for me, I hold Tencent through the Hong Kong stock market. And
Yeah.
Tencent, right? I mean, in the Hong Kong stock market, there's even options. This EQ slash O lah. So this Hong Kong. So you can even sell puts. You can, but the buy call don't have like super long term lah. So it's up to only 300 over days. So
Yeah.
for me, this Tencent holdings. Can you all see Tencent? Cannot see Tencent. No? Okay. So
Yeah. The ticker is not the same.
so I don't really remember the number of the ticker lah. Okay, 00700. Oh, okay, 007. So this is Tencent
Yeah.
Holding, Hong Kong Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
This is a place lah where you can actually buy. You can use
Mm.
interactive brokers. You can use Saxo. I mean, I got Saxo because last time I used to open an account with them, and it's easier for me to use it lah. Okay.
Fantastic. Very well. Any concluding questions and thoughts? If not, I know it's like Sean's resting time.
Hey,
Our
but don't worry
elderly
lah. I
resting
really
time.
enjoy it. It's like, wow, very long time never talk about stocks like that already. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. It's good. Guys, if you have learned something, right? Can you just type what is one of your one key learning or maybe two key learnings, okay, before we go, just so that we know that you guys are learning and you're enjoying. Okay. Firstly, if you're enjoying, can you type a smiley face, right? Smiley face. And secondly, if you guys have learned something, can you type your one or two key learnings from this past 1 hour, right, that you have learned? Oh, they're saying do more sessions. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, they're typing smiley face, smiley face. Okay, so now tell us, what is that one thing that you have learned? One thing that you have learned. Okay. Angie loves it.
Simple is
Fantastic.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a lot of
Yeah.
questions on options also. Yeah. Oh yeah, I still advocate buying long term options. Long term call. Yeah, for me I still do that. What else do you all learn? Invest in good company. Ignore all market cycle.
Valuation. Yes. Good companies.
If account balance 100 USD can do sell put, cannot because how do you sell put for 100 USD balance? Okay, I mean for those who understand options, you can't do that. To sell put, you do need certain amount of float. Okay, but you
Yeah,
can
go
buy
back
call
to
lah.
fundamental.
100 USD maybe got a chance to buy call. Yeah, I always mention go back to fundamentals. Very very naggy huh? So no choice. This is, if you start seeing me
Yeah.
saying something
Cool.
different, means come and save me now. Okay, means I go crazy already.
Okay, fantastic, very good. So of course, we want Sean to come on now. Andy is asking about Teledog. Okay, good. So I can do that. I can do an update the next time. Yeah, don't be greedy. Buy call is 40% down. Yeah, okay. So many questions. Of course, we can't cover it all in one session. So of course,
Mm.
Sean will have to come back with us, right, Sean?
Next week, next week. Let's start doing this.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. All right then, guys, just take care, stay safe, rest well. Any other, any concluding thoughts, Sean? I think they all miss you.
Oh, this is the best strategy ever, man. The Para Kupa one. It's a no-brainer. You just do this. Don't need to come and watch Facebook Live already. Sometimes you watch too much, you're also confused. I'm not kidding you. Hey, this is
Yeah,
the best strategy ever. I think if you ask anyone who actually deploy this, don't need to think so much. Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
I mean, in conclusion, never stop learning. At the same time, when you learn, right, don't have to absorb everything. What do I mean by that?
Mm,
Certain things is suitable for you, certain things is not. I mean, I also learn a lot of different options method. I learn about different stocks. You also got to say no, lah. Okay, so don't try to absorb then what immediately try to implement everything. I mean, we know that we mentioned you learn something, you take action, correct? Sometimes one of the action is also to say a no to certain things first, especially
yeah,
investing, because it's the good thing about stock
yeah.
investing is if you got a initial amount, you can take a small portion to go and test. So test first, proven already, proven in the sense proven that you are able to handle certain kind of strategy or certain stocks. Then you go in heavier. Don't need
Mm,
to. I mean, I do know there's market cycles, there's opportunities, but the truth is when you have skills, right? When you hone yourself to the skills, the opportunities will always be there. Okay, you will know how to manage it.
mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, guys, if you want to stay in touch, you can follow us on our Facebook, on our Telegram, Sean's Facebook, my Telegram, right? The scroll is at the bottom, if you all want to stay connected on business updates, investing updates, okay?
Mm.
So, the scroll is at the bottom. You guys have the links, all right? And yeah, so stay safe, invest safe, okay? Go and sleep for those of you who can't sleep. Those of you who put B and C just now. Oh my goodness, you still remember? You still remember the princess? Oh, Sean's fault.
I
Oh,
didn't call you something else. Princess is good, right? So have a good night sleep, princess. Make sure there's no pee underneath your mattress. Does
yes,
it make sense?
exactly.
All right.
Okay, good,
So good night,
good.
everyone.
Good night, everybody. Take care. See y'all soon. Yeah, bye bye.